What it does, beautiful peeps and peeperino. So today I thought I'll make this little video of why the fuck I think that actually, honestly, Metacritic is a horrible place for us gamers to compare the stats of our favorite games and how well they did. Because I think personally, Metacritic is a place where trolls and randoms just give their vote without ever having played the game. And I will prove to you that that is a factual assessment of the situation. So, let's just hop up in it, shall we? So, to prove my point here, I've thought let's look at multiple video games on different sides and compare it. Well, what is the first problem we have with Metacritic? Well, the first problem we have with Metacritic is that we can just sign up and give out our fucking review of a game with no testing of if we have actually played the game. So, for example, I could go out to The Last of Us Part 2, click add my reviews, sign up, and then log in and write my review. And Metacritic doesn't actually process if you actually played the game or not. I mean, how could it? Everybody can log in, give a review. There's nothing really stopping you from doing that. So, that is the number one problem. Everybody can just review and say whatever the fuck they want to say about the game without being proven that they at least own the game. Well, you might say, well, why is that problematic? Maybe I went to the store and bought the game there and I don't have another option to really voice my opinion anywhere. And I guess, yeah, maybe that's right. But to really look at that hypothesis, I said to myself, well, let's look at stores where you actually have to have bought the game from the store to be able to actually give a review of said game. So let's take a look at Last of Us Part 2's review on Amazon.com. Let's see what the score there is. Because right now, their score is a 5.8 user score with a bunch of negative scores attached to it. Whoa, oopsie daisy. Here we can see that The Last of Us Part 2 apparently has a 4.7 user rating out of 25,000 votes, excuse me. If we take a look at The Last of Us Part 2, on Metacritic, it has a 5.8 out of 163,000 reviews. Okay? So 163,000 people went here and gave a review. And one thing about Metacritic is people who dislike shit, they would just give it 0 points. So something we're going to see now is if you go on Metacritic, there's barely any mixed reviews and only good reviews and horrible reviews. There's nothing in between here, really. The problem with Metacritic is people are just giving 10s. They're just saying best game ever and just leave it at that. Or they don't like certain aspects of a game and then they just go worst game ever and give it a 0 out of 10. And that is basically the main two things you can see here. They are either giving it like straight zeros or straight 10s and 9s. There is nothing you're really learning. So for example, if we scroll through this, we see 9, 3, 9, 0, 0, 10, 0, 10, 0, 8, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 1, 0. So people on Metacritic are not really giving reviews. They are just out here doing giving points because of the fact that they like something or want to support something. Because it doesn't really matter if the game is good or bad. You giving a review that's just 10 out of 10 best game ever or a 0 out of 10 worst shit I've ever played is not really helping anybody. There's no input you're giving. And I'm asking myself, if you played the game, if you're just saying, wow, this is the best game ever, you're not actually giving me any reasons why it is the best game ever. I'm just assuming you didn't really play the game that much or understood it that well. And the same goes for people who are saying this is a 0 out of 10. I think you're wilding if you give The Last of Us Part 2 a 0 out of 10. It's at least as a game, as a video game, it's better than 90% of the games that are out there. If you ignore the story, if you don't like the story. I personally like the story. But you can't just take away from the gameplay and the graphics and everything else and just call it a 0 out of 10 because that is ridiculous. If we, for example, go to Amazon and take a look there on the distribution of 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4, 5, and so forth, so on, we will see that the distribution on Amazon is way more natural and doesn't look like people have like tempered with the results. Here we are on the Last of Us Part 2 page on Amazon, and if we actually go on the reviews, you can see that it's 86% are giving it 5 stars, 8% are giving it 4 stars, 3% are giving it 3 stars, 2%, 1% is giving it 2 stars, and 2% are giving it 1 star. So here we can see that the people who actually played the game, who are 100% proven to have played the game because they must have played the game to give a review on Amazon, are saying 4.7 people are saying out of 5 are saying this is a good product and I would tell you to go and buy it. It's basically almost the exact opposite on Metacritic. Or people might say, well, that's a nice thesis, but it's just Amazon. Do you have anything else to like collaborate that result, you know? And I say yes. I could go and take The Last of Us and go to another side and then give you the same result again, which I will do real quick. If we were to actually go on to the PlayStation Store page, we can see that this game has 169,000 votes, which is actually way closer to the Metacritic score. So here we have basically a right way to look at 163,000 people that actually voted. Okay, they actually voted. They actually have bought the game from the PSN store. It's proven they have. It's not something that I can doubt that they have. And 4.43 people are saying, out of 5, are saying, you should get this game. This is a good-ass game. So, what is this huge discrepancy that we are seeing here? I honestly believe it's fanboys and haters and console warriors and all types of shit, because you can see this at like multiple video games where it doesn't make any sense that they are downvoted to hell. So to prove my theory once again, I will go into another direction and look at the Metacritic score, and then I will look at the other scores. Actually, another one of these bangers is apparently Cyberpunk 2077. So if we go on the user ratings, this has a 7.1. Okay, I'm also looking at the PC version right now, and this is the PS4 version. So let's take a look at the PS4 version. Actually, it has critic reviews of 54, but we want the user review, which is a 7.1. Okay, no, just by the PlayStation 4 users, it's a 3.9. Okay, if you were to look at this, you would think this is the worst fucking game ever. Okay. And a lot of this hate comes from people who have watched YouTube videos who just didn't play the fucking game on the PlayStation 4 actually, and just gave it negative reviews. Listen, I'm not trying to damage control the way Cyberpunk released, but like, saying the game was a 0 is just outrageous. Okay, the game was not a 0. Okay, there were a lot of bugs, especially on PlayStation. I didn't play it on PlayStation. I have my homies play it on there. But it was not a 0 out of 10 game. That is just insane. And to prove that, you once again go to Amazon. And here on Amazon, as you can see, the game has 22k votes, 22k thousand votes, and it has a 4.1 on Amazon. So that Metacritic score is way different. Okay, absolutely different. And to prove it one more time, we will go to the PlayStation Store, because I don't know, we could also go to the Xbox Store, but I would just go to the PlayStation Store to keep it, because I'm using the PlayStation 4 version to compare it. Let's just go to the PlayStation Store and see what the reviews are for Cyberpunk there. And once again, we enter the Cyberpunk page on PSN, and we find out that 94,000 people said this is a 4.32 game out of 5. So 94,000 people really enjoyed the game and would really shout it out. This is compared to the good old reviews on Metacritic, which had, I think it was 20,000 I said earlier, right? So these are like 20 or 30,000 people that voted on Cyberpunk overall. As you can see, 35,000 people here. 4,000 people in the PSN store alone, okay, voted on this and said it's a good game. So, I guess we've learned something today. What we have learned is that the internet and the media and the people online getting butthurt about their favorite game not doing what they wanted it to do is having a huge influence on these game releases. It's having a huge influence on how they are looked at. It's having a huge influence on all these things, and saying that it doesn't have these influences, it's just delusional. Okay? I just think personally, we as gamers, okay, if we already go out there and we compare our favorite games with one another, I think one of the most important things we should do is make sure that the side we are comparing our opinions about games is safe, to not be frauded the fuck out, to not have fraudulent reviews. So I would go, actually, if you are interested in a video game and you go out, you Google it, and you say, hey, I want to play this game, but I first want to know what people think about it. Do not go out and type in Metacritic to see what people think about it, because people who have never fucking touched the game are going to give their opinion on it. And you do not want that. You want people who have played the game to give you an opinion, because it's like me going out, not listening to an album and saying, wow, this artist is trash. It's like me not watching Oppenheimer and saying, wow, Oppenheimer was so fucking horrible. You have not played the game. And I think it's important that we understand that even if you watched a YouTube video, a video game is there to be played. The medium is playing. It's not watching, it's not listening, it's interactivity. It's actually doing something, okay? So without having actually played a video game, I don't ever want to hear anybody commenting if the game is good, bad, or trash. You cannot decipher it from just looking at it. I used to think Baldur's Gate 3 was going to be absolute ass to me because I don't like these types of games. Now look at me. I love the game. So what I'm trying to say is, let us not use Metacritic. Let us use Amazon or the Xbox store or the Nintendo store or maybe even the PlayStation store, instead of always falling back on fucking Metacritic in these discussions. Have a blessed one.